laughing. Okay,
We
so
want you to screw this up.
yes.
We want you to screw this up.
All right, okay, let's roll, guys. Are you rolling already? So, Insurance Coffee with Nick. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you very much, Nick.
Dawn is our specialist aviation insurance broker and underwriter. She's been in the game for over 20 years. And like you like to say about yourself?
I'm loving my aviation. My blood is aviation. I've been doing this for more than 20 years, so I'm loving this.
Okay, so Dawn is like our resident expert when it comes to anything with wings or a rotor. If it flies, you deal with it.
As long
And
as
if it
it's
doesn't fly, we deal with it. Right?
Even if it's not flying, I deal with it.
100%. So, we were talking off air a little bit, Dawn, just really about the uses when it comes to the use of a plane or a helicopter or rotor wing. I mean, how important is it for you to make sure the insurer understands what you're going to use the plane for?
The uses are very important when it comes to, even for the insurers, when they have to quote, they give you the rates on the insurance, because they need to know what you're going to be using your aircraft for.
So if I'm doing charter work, or it's just for private use, I mean, what are the other things? We're talking about geographical limits.
So there is another one that they look at. They need to look at your geographical limits, where you're flying your aircraft to, and then they need to know the pilots that are going to be flying the aircraft. So their experience, the type of license they're holding, if they had any losses in the past 5 years.
Okay.
That is the very important stuff that the insurers are looking for when
Okay.
they need to give you a quote.
All right. So we are going to put a link in below that you guys must check out, okay? And we can help you navigate those waters, right? So you can get a premium, you can get a quote, but is it based on the actual uses? If you're using your plane and you're a farmer and you're doing crop spraying,
yeah.
That's a different use, So the insurers really need to understand that. And I mean, Dawn, we're also talking about when you're an aircraft owner. I mean, a pilot is probably one of the most important rating, criteria.
Correct.
So, I mean, a lot of the challenges come around trying to insure a young pilot.
Yes.
Or a pilot with low hours. And I mean, tell the viewers out there, how do you navigate that and work with the owners and what do we do at Mont Blanc?
At Mont Blanc, what we do, we look at the pilot, and obviously we're going to look at how many hours he's got. Most of the time, the challenges that we face, we find an owner who's got a son who's been flying with his son for more than 20 years, or maybe started flying with his dad without everybody knowing for little as 10 years. And then by the time he's a pilot, in that aircraft he's got more than obviously maybe 20 hours or 40 hours. But recordly on his license, he's got maybe 5 hours. So, but the problem with the insurers, they don't look at that most of the time. But at Mont Blanc, we've got a good relationship with most of our insurers, and we get to let them know about the background of that young pilot, for them to know that he's been flying for early age and he never had any losses.
Right.
So we do help the young pilots to be added on the policy.
Okay. And also your AMO, your aircraft maintenance operator, is very important.
Yes.
We want to know where you're getting your aviation maintained.
Yes.
It's one of the most important things when it comes to claims, can occur because maintenance has not been done correctly.
Correct. And especially when it comes to the HAL agreed value also, visiting your MO now and again does help, because you need to know how much is your value of your aircraft, because that will avoid you to have an underinsured or overinsured of your aircraft.
Yeah,
so you visiting your AMO now and again to check the current value of your aircraft does help our clients a lot.
And we help you evaluate the actual value of your aircraft. So it's important. I mean, so Dawn, I think this is one of those things where a broker's advice giving and how we place the policy matters more, than anything else.
Correct.
I mean, because insurance is not insurance. It's got to be done properly.
Yes. We're talking about legal liability in aviation.
Okay.
Please tell us, we've got two types of liability.
You get a single seat liability and you get a combined single limit.
Correct.
So the one is where you actually say the per seat. So if an aircraft has got 4 seats, or bigger aircraft, let's say 10 seats or 30 seats, and you'll have a cover, let's say $1 million per seat.
Correct.
Now, if you've got 30 seats, you've got $30 million. Now, one might want to rather have $30 million combined single limit,
yes,
where you now then can use that $30 million on any seat.
Correct.
Meaning if only 4 or 5 people were injured and now are going to claim liability against the owner of the aircraft or the operator, you could use that because all 30 never sustained any injuries. Only 5 did. So now you'd be able to use 30 million for 5.
Correct.
Instead of being limited to only being able to use 1 million
for 1%.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
So
correct.
we'll advise you correctly on which one is appropriate for you. And CSL, combined single limit, as we like to say, has its use case and can also save you a lot of premium as an operator or owner of an aircraft.
Yeah, and I always advise our client to take as much as they can afford when it comes to liability, because you'll never know how much you'll be liable for. So any claim on liability, you can fly, or maybe have an incident on top of one of the big buildings that is too expensive. That's third-party liability. So the aircraft can crash on top of one expensive building, and that can cost you a lot of money. So I always advise the clients to make sure that they take as much as they can afford, because they'll never know how much they will be liable for in the event of a claim.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And we also prefer to give you that cover in US dollars.
Correct. Because it's going to be huge amount. So I'm sure when you convert into your rand, in South Africa, it's going to be a huge amount.
100%.
And it's cheaper. The more what I've realized, Nick, on liability, the bigger the sum insured, the cheaper the premium.
100%. 100%. So your rate gets better.
Correct.
Also, talking about values, I mean, we're one of the few guys that will insure in US dollars.
Correct.
And also, you can pay your premium in US dollars, whether it be annually, quarterly, or monthly. I mean, that's been quite a game changer for us.
It's a game changer because the fluctuation of the rates and everything affects our clients a lot. Because if they have to pay in rands, converting it from the dollars, it does affect their pockets a lot. Because if they pay us in dollars, there's no fluctuations, there's no maybe overpayment of that quota, or maybe short paid, or that client has to pay in later.
Okay, that's great. So in other words, even if I'm paying my premium over the next couple of months,
Yes.
I will pay that fixed dollar rate from when I took my policy.
Correct.
Which is great, guys. I mean, we've been able to negotiate that and put that in place, which is really something that's convenient for clients.
Yeah. And we've got our dollar bank account, so which is
Yes.
easier for our client to pay directly to us.
Yes, and that's been quite interesting doing that with the Reserve Bank, which has just brought convenience to our clients.
Yes.
So a US dollar bank account, but actually with a South African bank domiciled here. Quite a unique thing, I think, in our game. Also, just understand that, at Mont Blanc, we've got access to markets that other financial service providers don't have. And I think we're one of the few people that actually have US insurers that we use for aviation. So, guys, if you are a pilot, click on the link below, look at our pilot excess insurance. Make sure that you sort it out there. I'm also going to drop a link below for our pilot insurance to insure yourself as a pilot. Also, I'm going to put a link there. We also do loss of license. We're one of the few guys that will cover you as a pilot, your life insurance, so that if something happens to you, become disabled, or you just can't fly anymore,
Yes.
it's as if you are disabled, but you're not. You can do other work, but with a specific loss of license cover. Click on the link, check us out, and we're there to help.
Nick, just tell us about your quoting tool that you have in the website.
A quoting tool. Okay, so that's quite cool. I think we're probably one of the only people in the market where, simply put your details in, put your aircraft information in, stick in pilot details, and within 3 minutes, Dawn,
Yes.
I mean, you get a quote.
Get a quote.
Right there,
Yes.
okay? and pretty much that quote's about 95% accurate.
Correct. And then you don't have to wait for a broker to call you maybe tomorrow. You just know exactly what you're looking for and what you're expecting to pay.
Yeah. So also very importantly, if you're moving from one aircraft to another, and you're going maybe from something that was a 2-seater to a 4-seater, or you're going to a bigger plane, and you want to know what are the costs, why before you buy the plane. This can help you budget, understand what's going on. So you know what? Click on the link. We're going to drop it in there. Get a quote, check it out, compare what you're currently paying to what we're quoting you. And you know what? We'll come back to you and we tailor make that quote specifically for you. But it's so quick. I mean, I love that. I love it
because it makes our clients' life very easy.
Yep, 100%.
Because when they're doing their budget, they already know what they're expecting to pay on their insurances.
100%. For laughing, okay, so
want you to screw this up.
Yes.
We want you to screw this.
all right, okay, let's roll, guys. Are you rolling already?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna want you to like, point down like and subscribe.
Yes.
Okay, and what else? And get our quote. Get a quote now. Do they want a quote? Must they get a quote?
They must get a quote.
Yes, and up here we're putting our video. We've got an explainer video right here.
It's going to be there with the flowers.
Where the flowers are. There's a nice explainer video on how you do a quote. Okay, so what must we do, Dawn?
We must like,
and subscribe.
subscribe.
Okay.
Like and subscribe.
Thank you, guys. Okay.